Hello everyone, my name is Evan and welcome to Country View Acres. So last night we ended up getting some rain, some much needed rain. It has been dry here for about a month and a half and we've needed rain really bad. My soil is all cracked and everything on how dry it is. But the rain that came ended up coming in the form of a thunder shower. I mean, it was a pretty good storm that we got last night and we lost power for probably about 3 hours last night. And I got up this morning to let the animals out, and the first thing I noticed is I've got a little bit of storm damage. Not too much, but I've got some limbs that are down, and I've got a little damage here in the garden as well. So we're gonna have to get out the chainsaw and get some of these limbs cleaned up today. So let's go ahead and get started. So you can see we got a limb that fell almost perfectly on our driveway. So luckily when Rebecca came home, she worked at the hospital last night, she was able to drive through the grass and go around that tree and then come through over here. But I'm gonna go ahead and have to get this all, cut up and cleaned up today. It's not what I was planning on doing, but need to go ahead and get it done. So this is the tree that the limbs fell out of. So this here is a limb that's been hanging in there for a while. So I'm gonna try to get that out today. I'm gonna have to somehow either get that cut off or broken off. And the majority of the limb actually fell from all the way up there. All right, I think I've got everything I need. I think I've been getting fatter. Everything's getting a little tighter. That's one. Well, that one's caught in there pretty good. I think I'm gonna have to get a rope on this one. See if we can pull this one out. So we're gonna try to pull this one out with a tow strap. I'm just gonna wrap this around here a few times. Oh, see if I can get it above this little limb here. Okay. And then I'll pull it back through itself. Should be able to pull this out with the truck, I hope. Actually, I may be able to pull this out with my hand. Let's see what we can do. Oh yeah. That wasn't too bad. Yeah, you can tell that this limb had been in there for quite a while because it's all dried and it's pretty light. So it's pretty easy to lift. So that didn't end up being too hard. I'm able to get those 2 limbs out of the tree by hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up all the small branches and stuff and get those hauled off, and then we'll cut the bigger stuff up into firewood. So this vine right here that was on the tree, I don't know if you can see it real well, but this is poison oak. So a lot of people are allergic to this. It's worse than poison ivy. So Rebecca is very allergic to this. In fact, we've cleaned a lot of brush out on this property, and she has helped numerous times and got poison ivy and poison oak on her, and she consistently gets worse every time. They told her probably the next time she gets it that she might end up in the emergency room. But luckily, I'm not really allergic to it. I've got like a couple spots on my wrist before, kind of like right now, how it's rubbing my wrist. But a lot of times I never get anything. So I'm not really allergic to it, luckily. But I put a lot of effort in trying to pull these vines off of the logs and everything, so it's not on the firewood. That way Rebecca doesn't have to worry about getting poison oak when she's putting firewood in the fireplace in the wintertime. So anyway, anytime there's a vine on a tree, I'd probably, be cautious and try to stay clear of it. So I did haul all the brush off, and afterwards I went in the house and I washed my hands and my arms real good. Even though I'm not really allergic to, poison oak, I've only got it real minor a couple of times. It's just a good idea if you're around it to wash up as soon as possible. Now Rebecca, she's so allergic that she'd be able to get poison oak off of my clothes from me handling all this stuff. So at the end of the day, I'll have to just take my clothes and put them in the laundry myself and get them washed. That way she don't have to handle them. So after I hauled the brush off, the sun has decided to come out. So it looks like the storms that went through, they finally kind of passed on. And to be honest with you, I was enjoying the shade. It was nice having that cloud cover. It was nice and cool out here working this morning. But I still got some wood. What's left here, I need to cut that into firewood and get it on the firewood pile. And then we'll run over to the garden. I'll show you the damage we ended up getting in the garden from the wind. All right, let's go ahead and have a look at the garden. So when I first put up this 5-tiered planter here, I had a lot of people say that was going to get blown over in the wind. And so far, this thing has held up just fine. I do have it perfectly level, and it has not blown over in the wind. And I've had 2 windstorms now. This is the second one that has damaged plants, and this thing has held up just fine. So what ended up blowing over this time is my corn. Can you see my sweet corn back there? It all got kind of knocked over, and it was just tasseled out, and it was making ears of corn. So you can see that it's almost laying completely on the ground here, but you can see the ears of corn, and a lot of the tassels are already turning brown where they're, maturing and turning into some nice corn on the cob. So this was ambrosia sweet corn, and it was a pretty good little stand of it here too. And it's too bad that it took it out, Hopefully this will still, I don't know if it'll stand up again, but hopefully it'll continue to stay alive and I can get some sweet corn off of it. But it's too bad. Corn is really susceptible to wind, and I've seen it numerous times in my dad's garden through the years. So the rest of the plants out here in the garden did fine. The tomatoes have done fine, everything. You can see all this broccoli and cauliflower that we've got in here. We harvested that probably a month ago, and I need to get these plants pulled out of here. They're taking up a lot of space in the garden. So the funny thing is, like right here, look how tall those are. That is some sunflowers that I planted for Rebecca. She loves sunflowers, and there's actually a couple here that's actually got some blooms on it. This was a variety, like a mix, so it's a bunch of different types of sunflowers here. And that fence there, that fence is probably at least 5.5 feet tall. So, I mean, these are 7 foot, 8 foot tall plants, and the wind didn't knock over these sunflowers, but it sure affected the corn. So I am glad that we got the rain last night. We needed some really bad. It has been really dry around here. In fact, we need a lot more. We could use a few more inches of rain, a nice slow rain. It's too bad it was a storm because, that's that real hard rain and a lot of it washes off and doesn't get a chance to soak in. But I'm glad that we got it, even though we did have a little bit of storm damage. It could have been worse than what it was, so that's a good thing. And it was nice to get out and use the chainsaw and cut that up. That is something I really, truly enjoy. I do like cutting down trees and collecting firewood and using the chainsaw. So that was a nice change, being able to get out here and do that today. Plus, it was about 10 degrees cooler, and we had a breeze, and it was all nice and cloudy when we were doing it. It's all sunny right now, but it was a nice change. So I actually enjoyed making today's video. A lot of the times I make videos of what we do around here, and a lot of times it's not like the most enjoyable thing to do, right? It's just what needs to be done. There's so many jobs out here that just need to be done, and it's not necessarily something that I really love to do. But being able to cut up the firewood and do that kind of thing, I do enjoy that. So it was nice change for the day, being able to do something different. But anyway, I think that's it for right now, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and grill out some lunch, and I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.